How's it going, people? Welcome back to the Pointless Polo Project. I am Cars with JB, or just JB, or whatever you want to call me. Today I'm going to talk you through my plan for the Pointless Polo Project moving forward. So if you're new to the channel, you probably haven't seen that many of my Pointless Polo Project videos unless you've gone back in time and looked at the kind of stuff that I've been working on with my Polo. But basically the whole point of the project is to do as cheap modifications as possible on my VW Polo to make it something that I'm slightly more proud to own and can gain slightly more enjoyment from as a car, basically. I'm super proud to own my VW Polo. By the way, I love my Polo, and that's why I want to do this project to it. When I started the project, I was a very poor student at university. I was about £1,500 in my overdraft and really struggling. So the idea was basically to just give as little money as possible to the car, but gain the maximum amount of enjoyment from it. And progress has kind of stalled, and I'm sorry about that, and I want to bring it forward. So in this video, I'm going to talk you through the plans for taking it forward and where I want it to go. But before I do that, let me give you a couple of excuses as to why it hasn't gone anywhere in the last couple of weeks. Firstly, it's dark outside, and that's just the most important point. When I get home from work, I have absolutely no time to do any recording in the daylight, and I have no equipment to record modifications on my car whilst it's dark. This camera is about 7 years old, and so it can barely handle light, let alone darkness. So I'm gonna buy some new recording equipment, get a new camera, get some big lights, get some good microphones as well so that you can actually hear me rather than just hearing the reverberations from the walls all around me. And I will get on with the project a lot better than I have been in the past. And if you're asking me why don't I work on weekends, it's because it's the run up to Christmas and all of my weekends are literally just booked with doing stuff with friends and girlfriends and all the things that get in the way of cars, basically. So hopefully this clears a few things up for you if you've been watching the Pointless Polo Project and wondering where it's been. But without further ado, let's get into the video. If you watch one of my earlier videos where I do the slowest ever lap around the Nurburgring in my Skoda Fabia estate, which is my first car, you'll know that I really enjoyed my experience driving around the Nurburgring. It just really was unbelievable, just a bucket list thing to achieve. My new goal for the Pointless Polo Project is to make a car that I'm proud to drive on the roads, enjoy, it's comfortable, all those great things, but also the goal is that when I finish the project, I'm going to take the Polo to the Nurburgring and get myself that coveted Nurburgring sticker on the back, because I don't think it's right to have a Nurburgring sticker on the car unless I've driven the track, and it's my favourite track in the world. So new goal is basically to get the car around the Nurburgring in a decent time. I haven't seen a Polo 9N record around the Nurburgring, and even if there was, I'm not going to beat it, let's be honest. But I'd like to do at least a half decent time. I don't think I'll be able to get sub 10, maybe sub 12 or something, who knows. That probably is very ambitious. You guys can tell me in the comments. Let me know down below in the comments what time should I aim for around the Nurburgring, and be realistic, because it's not going to be a sub 7 Polo and it's not going to be a sub 10 Polo, especially if it's on a budget. So basically I've identified 4 key areas that I need to work on my Polo in order to get it to a place where I'm happy to drive it around the roads and call it my perfect daily. The first one, and my main focus, is to give the car really good handling. I want to make the car handle like a dream in the corners. I want it to just sort of fly around roundabouts and basically just be way more nippy and lose that body roll that it already has. The key things that I could do to do that would be to get some anti-roll bar kits, some sports suspension, better tyres, sort out my steering column, which has so much play in it, it's unreal. And I want some race style bucket seats in the car as well. So obviously they need to be half decent in terms of comfort, because I want the car to be comfortable and enjoyable for me and my friends to go around in. They need to obviously fold as well, as the car is a 3-door, but they do need to be bolstered enough that you can get stuck in the car and you don't kind of shift too much either way. The second key area that I want to focus on is individual refined aesthetics. So I want the car to be very much my car in terms of how it looks. I'm not interested in modelling it on something else. I want it to be my perfect 9N. And though I've said I don't want to model anything else, I'm thinking maybe an OEM style, a little bit upgraded, sporty, almost like a GTI 9N that never existed. I really just don't want it to be something that attracts police and gets me in trouble and that kind of stuff. I just want it to be a nice, refined, good looking car, probably a little bit wider because I quite like the look of a wider Polo, but nothing that's going to be ridiculous or over the top or just dumb. So in terms of the parts I need, it'll be the body obviously, in terms of widening it a little bit. Want it to look a bit more premium, so replacing those dead hubcaps for some nice rims. Want it to look a bit more up to date, so maybe get some angel eyes on there, some demon eyes, those kind of things. Basically just LED lights rather than the random grim ones that are already on the car. Probably tint the rear windows a bit as well. I think I want to go for a blue, black and carbon fibre theme throughout is my general idea, but I'm not 100% certain to that, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to give them to me. The third umbrella topic that I need to work on with this car is comfort to luxurious levels. I want the car to be so comfortable inside, I want it to be enjoyable for my friends to sit in, I want it to be enjoyable for me to sit in, and I want everything to basically match up with the comfort and enjoyment and tech of a modern car. So I mentioned those race bucket seats, so those are going to have to be somewhat luxurious or enjoyable to sit in, so they're actually nice and a comfortable place to sit for long journeys. I want to completely redo the interior with a good colour scheme to match the exterior of the car, so maybe I'll pick out one key area, so that carbon fibre, redo my carbon fibre dashboard, do some carbon fibre bits elsewhere around the car as well. Maybe get those seats with the blue accent on them, or just basically I want the car to feel like a really nice, comfortable place to be. And as a part of that, obviously upgrading that technology to a point where I'm happy with it and it's not at all lacking compared to a modern car. One thing I'd quite like to do as a DIY makeshift project thing would be the starlight ceiling that you get in Bentleys and that kind of stuff. I think that would be so ridiculous, pointless, utterly a waste of money and time, but kind of cool if it's doable. And I mean, if a Bentley can have it, why can't my Polo have it? And the fourth and final umbrella point that I want to work on with my Polo is excessive power, or at least extra power. I'm not really sure yet. Basically, the car has a 0 to 60 of forever if you've watched any of my other videos, and you'll know that it needs some more power underneath it to get it from 0 to 60 in maybe sub 13 seconds, sub 12 seconds, just anything less than 18 seconds would be beautiful. And now this is where it gets to be very, very tricky. The rest of the project is all kind of doable with my very limited abilities mechanically. And the absolute ideal goal for this, and probably the cheapest way of getting the car to a position where it can actually deal with other faster cars on the road and be in a position where it might get a sub 10 0 to 60, would be to engine swap it. And that's not some ridiculous LS swap or something huge like that. I'm talking a block that actually fits into my engine bay, and that is the 1.8 turbo engine that is very famous and very well renowned. But there are two of them that should theoretically fit directly into the engine bay. They're the engine codes BJX and BBU. And the reason why I'm telling you all this information is because I really need help with this part. I'm pretty certain that both of those engines fit directly into the engine bay, right into the pre-existing mounts for the engine. But what I'm not sure about is the entire process by which I'll need to put those engines into the car. So I'm worried about the transmission not being able to fit in place and that kind of stuff. I've read a few forums where they say that a BJX will fit straight into it, all you need is the engine and the wiring loom, but that seems a bit ridiculous that you suddenly triple the power of the car but don't change the transmission on top of it. Maybe I'm just being stupid, but I feel like I probably need to do a little bit more than just take the engine and the wiring loom and then Bob's your uncle. My dad's been a car mechanic for sort of 25, 30 years now, so doing the job won't be impossible, but he hasn't told me whether or not I can actually fit this engine into the car. He has done 1.8 T swaps with different engine codes into the Polo, but they've not been the ones that fit directly into the engine. I only want to do this engine swap if it is an easy swap. I don't want to do some ridiculous, long-winded, over-the-top engine swap that ends up taking months, because that's not the point of the Pointless Polo Project. The point of the Pointless Polo Project is to do things easy and cheap. And waiting around in your car for months is not easy, and it's probably not cheap. But if that's not possible, look at other ways to get the car quicker, so maybe remapping, air filters, performance exhaust, all those great kind of stuff to get the car to just eke a little bit more horsepower out of it. I don't feel like there's much to pull out of the VW Polo 9N 1.2e with 52 brake horsepower, but if it's doable, we'll do it, and that's obviously if the 1.8T thing doesn't work. So any help on the 1.8T thing is more than welcome. But yes, those are my 4 umbrella areas that I'm going to work on. Let's just recap what they are. Really decent handling, individual refined aesthetics, comfort to luxurious levels, and excessive extra power. So those are the 4 areas that I want to work on. And if I can maybe get 2 or 3 mods done a month, that is a very ambitious goal for me right now given the time aspect, but I'm going to do my best to get as much done as possible as and when I can. Might be that I do a lot more after Christmas because I'm just so busy leading up to Christmas that it's going to be a little bit difficult. But before I can do any of those things, the car needs to be MOT'd this week, so I'm going to MOT the car first and foremost. So long as it passes and doesn't just get sawned or something, I'm going to then work on the projects and see what I can do and see what I can build. In terms of keeping this project as cheap as possible, a few people have mentioned in the comments before that I spend all my money on my Polo and then don't have any money for a sports car or a better car than my Polo. To them I say you are correct, that is absolutely the case. I spend a lot of money on my Polo and I should spend that money on a better better car, but whatever. I want the Polo to be my forever daily, or at least not forever, but for a long enough time that it's enjoyable. And I think, or hope at least, that you guys like it as well. If you want to support my build, you can do it in sort of 3 main ways. The first one is if you happen to know anyone who is looking to collab with a YouTuber and give away some free parts that might help with the project, then feel free to hook them up with me or whatever my business email is down below. The second is to recommend any parts that you think might be useful for this project or that I should use in my Polo that you've used, or any ideas like that. And the final one, and it's a ridiculous one, I don't understand how people do it, but if you want to really support the channel and support the Pointless Polo Project, all the money that people give to me on Patreon and that kind of stuff goes directly in towards this. And over time I will basically create more incentives for people to join the Patreon and that kind of stuff. But if you really are interested and committed to the Pointless Polo Project and you couldn't live without it, then give me some help on Patreon and all that money will just go straight back into the car. So there we go. I haven't really done much with Patreon yet, but if you want to support, then it's there and I don't mind either way. But anyway, I'm going to get this car MOT'd and then I'm going to begin on the project. Sorry for the very long video of basically telling you about the plan for the car and stuff. I just felt like I needed to come clean, explain to you guys everything about that and just kind of move forward. And I had a couple of questions for you guys on Instagram that you wanted me to answer, so I will answer those for you now. So the first one is, how long do I plan on keeping Penny for? Basically as long as is viable, until she basically either dies or becomes useless or whatever. So I haven't really got a timeline, I just want to keep the car for a bit. Do I have any plans to change the colour? No, basically. I'm probably going to wrap the roof black as part of the project, but I don't think I'll change the colour of the car. I quite like the summer blue, it just looks quite good. Will I do a remote central locking fitment? That is a good question and something that I have toyed around with in my head. I will do it if it's not ridiculous, and also I've shown you in a previous video that my central locking is mashed in my car, so if I can fix that and then it's something that's viable and not too expensive, then yeah, I may well do it. And then this is a really good question to finish on. How many miles has Penny done and how has my opinion changed as I've driven it, if at all? So when I first got the car, I was absolutely in desperate need of a car. It wasn't a choice. I didn't know how many litres the car was. I didn't know what the colour of the car was. I just got the car because it was needed to get me around university and my other car had been written off. I had no savings, no nothing. Just £400 on a car, needed it within a day, and there it was. I had my Polo. My initial thoughts were I didn't really like the headlights, I didn't really like the way it looked. There were a lot of problems for me personally with the car, but I was very happy to have a car. I'm very grateful to just have my Polo. It's a bit more sporty, to be fair, than my previous car, and yeah, I was generally like, whatever, it's a car. Since owning it, as we all tend to, we build a relationship with the car, we enjoy it more, and we start to become a bit more involved with it, and we like its quirks and all those kind of stuff. Yeah, I do like my Polo. I like the way it handles, I like that it's kind of usable. Now that I've kind of started to put my own spin on it as well, I really enjoy actually driving the car. And I'm going to do a car review actually in the next couple of days or next couple of weeks or whatever, depending on time, just to review the car before the full project starts and explain what it's like to drive. But in terms of mileage, it's done 86,000. I think I got it about 79,000, so in the space of a year I put about 6,000 miles on it. But good question. Anyway, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Let me know your thoughts on the project, but thank you as always for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Listen.